for England. Here comes Marta, challenged by Lucy Bronze, and the penalty is awarded, and it's coolly slotted home. And that's the equaliser for England. Ellen White. Beth Mead went for goal, and what a goal! Absolutely stunning. England win their opening SheBelieves Cup game.
Rapinoe, that's a super strike in the USA League. Duggan's going to roll it. Steph Horton. Oh, what an equaliser! Oh, that's a lovely ball. And here's Nikita Paris. And England lead against the world champions. The USA level. England can feel very proud.
Well, what a tournament it's been so far for England. A win against Brazil and a draw against the world champions USA mean 3 points tonight, and they will take the title. But it won't be easy. Japan won the World Cup in 2011 and were runners-up in 2015. They've also, like England, beaten Brazil and drawn with the USA. Good evening. Well, Phil Neville says he'll make use of his substitutes tonight, and we've made one here in the studio. Laura Bassett joining Alex Scott. Welcome. And this is exciting, isn't it, Alex? On the brink of a first ever SheBelieves Cup triumph.
It is, and it's pressure, but it's great pressure. Winner takes all, and it's a great warm-up. This is what you want. With a tournament like this, it does. It replicates that feel of going into a World Cup and going into the knockout stages where, you know what, you have to win tonight to progress or, well, tonight, pick up some silverware.
Yeah, really exciting. Laura, we'll get the elephant out of the room first of all. England-Japan, it's not one that I'm sure you have happiest memories of.
No, that's right. But it's been a long 4 years, and finally tonight we get the chance to right our wrongs. But yeah, it's a great occasion. We rarely get to play Japan, so like I say, we've had to wait 4 years. So hopefully we can change that now tonight.
And I'm sure you've been watching at home, been very impressed by what you've seen so far from this England team.
Yeah, I have, especially with their character and resilience. You know, in both games, fortunately, to go down 1-0. But yeah, they do seem together. They seem like they can overcome anything that's thrown at them.
Yeah, and this is when you've built momentum up over these first two games. You want to see this out, don't you, in your final game?
Absolutely, and the thing that I've been impressed with this England team is every game they have got better. I still think today keeping possession will be key. I think in the first two games, England have been sloppy, and that's where an element where they need to improve. And also on set plays, even though Japan will cause a different threat, not aerially, technically, well, aerially they're best, but technically this team is superb and far best in the tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be a really big challenge tonight, but we can see the players all together there in the screens behind us, and it's something that I know you both spoke of a lot in the build-up to that 2015 World Cup and how it's carried on. There is a real sort of strong club mentality almost within that England squad, isn't there?
Yeah, that's right. I think it's really conscious in the squad, and especially when we were in there, and it's kind of like in training you go head-to-head, really competitive, but then whoever gets that shirt, you wish them all the best and you're fully behind them. So that's really important.
And there is a lot of competition for shirts in that England squad right now.
There is. I think what we've seen over, well, I suppose 10 years and up to now is Hope Powell really did lay the foundations, you know, getting the backing from the FA to push this England team on. Mark came in and really added that different element of that team togetherness and creating this different environment. And now it's fulfilled to take that on a next step going into a World Cup and turning that bronze medal into a gold.
Well, let's have a look at how the teams do line up tonight. And Phil Neville has made 8 changes, with Carly Telford returning in goal, Lucy Staniforth, Leah Williamson, Beth Mead and Euro 2017 Golden Boot winner Jodie Taylor all get their first starts of the tournament. Lucy Bronze returns to her usual right-back position. There's also been a heavy rotation within the Japan team, 5 debuts over their first 2 games, and tonight 18-year-old Jun Endo makes her first senior start. Star player Saki Kumagai and top scorer at this year's SheBelieves Cup, Yuka Momiki, are both on the bench. Right, quite a few changes then that Phil Neville's made tonight. What's your first reaction from seeing the team that he's selected?
I think, first of all, it is a lot of changes, so how that will mix up change the momentum of things. But also, I think from a player's point of view, you want to be given the opportunity to perform at such a tournament like this, with the pressure, with the crowd, with the pressure there to win tonight. So I think as players, the people who have got the nod tonight will be really relishing the opportunity to go and perform and ultimately get into Phil Neville's final 23.
Yeah, huge opportunity for some of those players. Leah Williamson hasn't played a minute yet in the tournament. You know, it's a huge opportunity for for players like that to really force themselves or try to force themselves into this World Cup thoughts?
Yeah, these players, they've been in and around the squad for the last year when Phil's now been involved. And it's the chance, yes, you've maybe had minutes in qualifiers, but these are the games where you have to step up against the best players, the best teams in the world and prove your worth. So come a World Cup, because things in World Cup, players have fatigue, you have injuries, so you do need a squad. It isn't about a starting 11. So if you can show up today and put in a big performance, Phil knows he can rely on you going into a World Cup.
One player he knows he can rely on, and now in a different position as well, is Lucy Bronze, back in her right-back position. But Phil said again that he believes that she is one of the best players in the world. It's nice to hear an England player being put onto that kind of level. But how do you think it'll make Lucy feel and the players around her?
I think, knowing Lucy, she's always very a confident personality and she believes wholeheartedly in her ability, like while do all the other players in the squad. They fully believe in her. So, yeah, it's a nice accolade to hear your manager say that. But in terms of Lucy, she just keeps striving. She wants to be better. She wants to be bigger, faster, stronger, everything. She wants to be the best. And if it drives the team forward and the rest of the players, then brilliant.
Do you know what? It sums Lucy's mentality up when I've spoken to her about playing centre midfield. She was like, well, it's a great challenge for me. And that she just wants to be the best in any position that she's put in.
Yeah, she's been superb so far this tournament. Well, goalkeepers have also been a big talking point ahead of this tournament. Carly Telford gets the nod tonight ahead of Karen Bardsley and Mary Earps, and she's been speaking to Joe Curry.
Good strong hand there from Carly Telford.
It's a fine save from Carly Telford.
How seriously do you take this cup, and what would it mean to lift a trophy so close to the World Cup?
Huge, and I think that, look, that's something that England's not used to doing as a nation, never mind as a women's football team. I think that what we've got to get used to is starting to feel like what it's like to win, and I think that's what kind of America, Germany, France, the Dutch have now got upper hands on us. I think they know what it takes to win and that feeling, and I think that's what carries them through maybe those bad spells. They're champions, they've been champions, and I think we've got to find a way of getting to that level, and winning this cup would put us in really good stead for going into a World Cup. I think we've got to start to create a winning legacy, and I think that's what Phil wants to do. He knows that if we're going into a World Cup, he's going to need 23 players, and some girls that he might take on one or two might not be enough if he needs to count on them. I think that just shows the strength, depth and quality that we have in this team, and it's fantastic to have in this tournament and going into the World Cup.
Let's talk about you personally, because you've been to major tournaments where you've been the player that hasn't played. But under Phil, you've got a realistic chance of going into this World Cup as England's #1 goalkeeper. You've been on quite a journey to get to this point, haven't you?
I got my first cap when I was 18, believe it or not, against Scotland. And I'm now 31, and I think I'm on 15 caps or something like that. And I think that for me, look, I've been questioned, are you just happy to be here? I said, of course I'm happy to be here. I would love to be sat here saying I was 150 caps instead of 15. But at the same time, I've picked up a bronze medal, I've shared some amazing memories with some amazing players, and now hopefully I get the opportunity to maybe represent my country as a #1.
Last year it all came down to the last game. You lost to the US, therefore you lost out on the trophy, and Phil made you all stand on the pitch at the end watching the US lift the trophy, the ticker tape everywhere, the crowd screaming. He said at the time he wanted you to remember that hurt. Do you still remember it?
100%. It was almost the embarrassment of having to wait around that long and watch them. To the point of like it was, like, because at the end of the day when it comes to that World Cup, you want to be stood on that podium lifting the trophy and everyone else watching you. You don't want to be the ones either sat at home because you've gone out early, or like you see you've got knocked out. Yes, you picked up your bronze medal or your silver medal, but then you have to stand there and watch that team who you were so close to beating or so close to getting a result or taking it further. We want to be on the other side and everyone stood watching us going, can we go, yeah, whatever, and we're kind of dancing around in the ticker tape, living our best lives, enjoying ourselves.
I think everyone supporting England will hope she has her best life tonight and has a nice shutout and England win the cup. But you've both been in squads with Carly where she says, you know, she's had to really wait her time. Is she England's #1 right now?
I think for certain games, yes. I really think Phil's in a great position where for certain opposition, where you might need a bigger, stronger keeper to come and dominate, or we've seen KB win the Continental Cup with Man City and maybe the penalty saves, you have her. And then for Carly, I think she plays a higher line, she's very confident and technical with her feet. So I think you have chalk and cheese, and he's in a great position. He can pick whatever he wants for whatever opposition he's up against.
Yeah, it's a nice luxury to have for Phil Neville. Going back to the USA game, though, England looked a little bit vulnerable from set pieces, conceded the second goal from a corner. It must be difficult or is it difficult when the goalkeeper is changing to try and keep that cohesion at the back? Is it a concern?
Well, it's a concern in terms of conceding from set plays and corners now, because it wasn't just in the USA game. When you go back, it was Australia, it was against Sweden. So when it's a recurring pattern, then that shows that clearly it needs working on, not just from a goalkeeper's point, from a defender's perspective as well. But those are things that we used to always work on the training field, because it can be the boring part of training. But you know, during World Cups in 2015, set plays were so crucial for us getting through and winning that bronze medal, and it's going to be going forward in this World Cup as well.
Well, the one thing people love to work on in training is shooting, and there have been a few cracking goals for England in this tournament so far.
Yeah,
this one just unbelievable technical ability, really.
Yeah, there really is. And in that position, you think, who's she looking up?
It's a shot.
But you're thinking, who's she gonna pick out? But then when she just unleashes that strike, which we've seen her do time and time again for Arsenal.
Yeah, and the Steph Horton free kick. You said to me beforehand, she's too close, she's too close.
Not from there, Steph. But look, we said Steph works on that time and time again. When training's finished, she's out, still practicing her free kicks, having to be dragged in. And she's like, no, one more. And this is why, for the big moments. And this is when you need your captain to step up. And she does. Steph is a big game player, and she's grown in this captaincy role over the years. From when it got taken off Casey and given to Steph, people questioned it, because you still had characters in that team that, yes, they were more experienced, but Steph has really stepped up in that role.
When you look at this SheBelieves Cup, whatever happens in this game, there's a lot of positives to take, and history would show that when England tend to have a positive warm-up tournament ahead of a major tournament, they have a good major tournament. Not that I'm tempting fate.
I'm smiling.
But yeah, history has shown that in the past, that it doesn't tend to build a negative pressure. It tends to
It gives you that momentum. When you look at 2015, England won the SheBelieves Cup and then went on to medal. In 2000, I think in 13 as well, we had a good tournament. So it just gives you that confidence and that belief going into a major tournament.
Right, well, it will be a challenge tonight. Let's talk Japan, because there's plenty of history between them and England.
Ellen White to lob the keeper.
I'm sure we're going to get another really cracking match tonight between these two. But Japan have shown in this tournament that they're clinical, that they're very, very fit. We know that they're technical. And this is a young, inexperienced team, but sometimes that unknown can be dangerous.
Yeah, but they have players that have played in youth tournaments as well, just like in the England team. My pronunciations. Sigute, she's won the golden ball winner in the under-17s and under-20 tournament, and she's having a fantastic tournament. And we talk about this Japanese team that they are inexperienced, but actually when you look at the England team too, I think we have 12 players in that squad that haven't played in a World Cup. So I think it's easy to talk about other teams and already make excuses that we're not playing against the best, well, them at their best. Well, actually, England are a young, inexperienced team at World Cup level.
Is it important that, for Japan, you think, that they bring these players through? Because, like everybody else, they want a squad of players to take to a World Cup, and they've left some of their experienced ones at home. Yeah,
that's right. And I think the coach has already said in the press that, you know, from the 2 games that they've already played, they know that they have a lot of work to do. So, you know, but if she's coming away with the experience that the debutants have got and these, you know, fewer capped players, it can only stand them in good stead.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they build up to that World Cup. But let's hear from the England head coach. Phil Neville has been speaking to Joe Curry.
Well, Phil, you said there'd be wholesale changes. You're a man of your word. 8 changes in total. With a cup on the line, is that a gamble?
No, I don't feel it's a gamble. I think I would have been letting myself and my players down if I didn't make those changes. It was always going to be the case. You know, 10 days ago, this game was going to be the game where I felt that these players deserved to play. And I think I said it yesterday in my press conference that if I haven't got the courage and I don't trust the players in games like today, then I'm not going to be doing it in Nice, Le Havre, or wherever we're playing in the World Cup in the summer. So I'm actually out of the 3 games. This is the one that I'm most excited about because there's a real freshness, there's a real excitement amongst the players, and you know, we can use 6 subs, so we've got real strength on the bench as well. And you know, if you look at the experience within my side, the players that we've got in there, you think of Jodie and Karen Khan, they've got over 200 caps between them, and you'd say that there's only probably Beth, Leah, maybe Lucy Staniforth that probably haven't got that many caps. So it's a great opportunity for them, and I can't wait to see them play.
It is winner takes all. It's effectively a final. You won several trophies in your own career as a player. Before your team leaves the changing room tonight, what are those words of advice going to be?
Just enjoy the game. We've told them to forget about the you know, the end bit, because they've got to get the process right in between. They've got to get the performance right on the field. I want us to come out the blocks flying tonight. We've got so much energy in the team, so much freshness, that I want us to hit the ground running tonight. We're playing against, I think, one of the best teams in the tournament, so it's going to be probably our most important and most difficult game. And you know, in 3 months' time, when we're in Nice, we're going to be playing Japan again. So it's going to be a real interesting battle tonight. And like I say, it's the one I've been looking forward to the most. Last year we came here and we did well in the first 2 games and then disappointed in the 3rd game. The challenge tonight is to finish the tournament in style. We've got great support back home. Everybody, the messages that we've been receiving have told us that actually the public back home are now on board with us, and we want to put on a show for them as well.
He has made 8 changes tonight. He's defending them there because he wants to give players game time. But when you're on the brink of winning a trophy, are you surprised that he has made so many?
It just speaks to me like he doesn't know he's 23. There's 3 players back home, and you know, with Jade Moore, Jill Scott, Millie Bright. So if those players don't make it, if they're not fit, he needs to have his 20. I'm sure he's got his 23 in his head, but then there's still a couple of places where he needs to maybe think, if they're injured, if they lack of form, who's his next A, B, C, D. He needs that. It says to me that he doesn't quite know that.
What do you think is the most important thing for him tonight? I mean, obviously, you would all love to see him lift that trophy come the end of the day, but is the performance almost as important, given that there are players in there trying to impress?
Yeah, I think it has been a good tournament. A lot of lessons will be learned from this tournament for England. And I think it is about the performance today, especially because he's rotated the team and he wants to see players and how they perform. But he said about going out there and enjoying it. Look, they'll enjoy it after 90 minutes when they've won. The winning feeling's better when you enjoy it like that. So hopefully they get the win today.
What do you think it means for Phil Neville to win this trophy tonight? If England can do the job tonight, what does it mean for him, and you know, with his year in charge, this kind of being the year on from when he took control in the build-up to a World Cup?
Yeah, I think for him he'd be pleased. If they win it, great. In his 14 games so far, he's only lost 2. So I'm sure for him and his ego, he'd love to win it. But I'm sure he knows it's not about that, is it? It's about the team, the bigger picture. And like Alex said, it's the performance. Yeah. So if he gets that, I'm sure he'd be pleased too.
We can see they're just coming out onto the pitch here in Tampa. How do you think they'll all be feeling just now? You can see Steph very concentrated and focused as always.
They will know they're in for a good test today. This Japanese side, how quickly they move the ball, 1 touch pass in, 2 touches, they work in triangles. And I actually think today, Japan, they defend really narrow. So actually moving Lucy Bronze back into the right back position, she could be our out today. We need to use our wide areas in this game, and that will be key.
Predictions. Come on.
I think it'll be 0-0 quite tight until the last 30, and then England to win 1-0.
Yeah, I think England will have to play smart today. They will, because they know up against this side, if you go and press, you can actually get popped round. So it's knowing when to go and press and when to hold out. And especially as well, look, we've played in Philly, with Nashville. It's a different kind of temperature today, so that's going to play a factor.
This is your kind of game, Abby.
It's my kind of game.
You see the trophy coming out there as well. I mean, they're in no doubt that they're playing for silverware. It's just walked out the tunnel with them. You know, if you needed a visual reminder.
That's great. And as a player, you definitely would have saw that. You wouldn't have walked past and ignored it. You definitely see that in your corner of your eye, and you want to be one of them players lifting it.
And going to this tournament year after year, our 4th year, so to have the chance to actually finally pick up that trophy, go for it.
Yeah, and I'm sure they will absolutely go for it. Sue Smith and Robin Cowan will bring you all the action after we've heard both teams' anthems, starting with Japan.
Followed by the playing of the national anthem of England.
Here we go then. Good evening, everyone. Just about set for the action at the Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. If we have a winner between Japan or England, the victor will claim the SheBelieves Cup. And here are your two teams for tonight. 6 changes to the Japan side that beat Brazil. England will try and target the 2 inexperienced centre-halves who have 5 caps between them. 18-year-old Jun Endo is given her first start in senior football. She helped the under-20s to the World Cup in France in the summer, while Yuka Mamiki, who scored in both previous SheBelieves games, is on the bench. As for England, 8 changes to the side that drew 2-2 with the USA. Only Steph Houghton, Lucy Bronze and Keira Walsh keep their places. There's a first SheBelieves appearance for Leah Williamson, who wins just her 5th cap. Alex Greenwood, Izzy Christensen and Karen Carney return after starting the first game against Brazil. And there are first starts of the tournament for Lucy Staniforth, Beth Mead and Jodie Taylor. So silverware up for grabs at the SheBelieves Cup. Japan hoping to claim their first SheBelieves Cup in their debut appearance. England, it's their 4th tournament appearance, hoping to go one better than their runners-up finish last year. The officials tonight, led by Christina Unkel of the USA. And this really would be a huge boost for Phil Neville ahead of the World Cup in the summer in France. Just 2 defeats during his tenure so far. And there is the Japan head coach, Saka Takakura, who became the first woman to take the head coach's job of the Japan women's national team when she was appointed in April 2016. So lots of talking points in terms of Phil Neville's team selection tonight. And as he said, hoping to see a few of the girls make an impression, like Leah Williamson. So essentially it comes down to this. A win for England would mean they win the SheBelieves Cup. A win for Japan would mean they win the SheBelieves Cup. A draw would put Japan in the driving seat, but it does leave the door open for the USA, who play Brazil later on. And we are underway in the final SheBelieves Cup game of England's tournament, taking on Japan. And Sue Smith, up till now, they've had a couple of good tests. This will be a very different one, won't it?
It will be a different test for England. You look at Japan, technically very gifted players, and England are going to need to stay patient, find players maybe in between the lines, and they might not have the ball necessarily as much as what they want to have the ball, but I think when they do get it, they've got to make sure that they keep it and use it well.
Ball down the line from Greenwood, and Jodie Taylor giving chase straight away. A couple of cameo appearances so far for Jodie Taylor, but a first start in the SheBelieves tournament. She scored against France last year. Here is Keira Walsh. She's played every single minute so far. It's going to be picked up by Shimizu. extremely inexperienced Japanese squad that was taken by Osaka Takakura to this SheBelieves Cup, but they've acquitted themselves extremely well. They've been under the cosh for large periods in both of their games against the USA and Brazil, have managed to come out with 2 very positive results. Here is Sugita. The foul goes England's way, and it's taken quickly. Lucy Bronze back in her right back position, having been utilised in midfield in the last game. Walsh. It's going to be picked up by Minami. Just her second appearance, Minami, along with her centre-back partner, Oga, who's winning her 3rd cap today. It's a big test for them as well.
Yeah, it really is. I'm just looking at Japan's lineup. You see straight away they're lined up in that 4-4-2 formation, because I know they trialled the 4-3-3, didn't they? But I think this is their preferred formation. They keep it tight, they keep it compact when they don't have the ball. They make it difficult for teams to break them down. That's what England will have to. They've got to stay patient. They've got to use the ball well. And the likes of Izzy Christiansen get on the ball. Lucy Staniforth make things happen in there, because the pace of Jodie Taylor will certainly cause the 2 centre-halves of Japan a lot of problems.
Here is Horton. It's picked up by Matsubara. Ball is cut out by Williamson. Picked up by Taylor. It's good feet by Staniforth.
It's a real opportunity for these players, isn't it? You know, you look at Leah Williamson and Lucy Staniforth. I think both of those players deserve to be here, and now it's a chance for them to show and, I suppose, prove to Phil Neville, we're good enough to be in your final squad for the World Cup, and if you need us, we're ready, we're available, and we can perform at this level, and that's, I think, how they'll see it.
Well, they've certainly earned the right with their club form, both mainstays in their clubs. Lucy Staniforth for Birmingham and Leah Williamson for Arsenal. It's a free kick to England in a good position. They might, for the first time in this tournament, have a slight height advantage when they take these free kicks in the absence of the likes of Jill Scott and Millie Bright. That's not really been the case so far. Alex Greenwood has a lovely delivery on her. It's taken short. Christensen. And the flag's gone up against Steph Horton.
That was unlucky, that, from England. It was really well worked. I was thinking, why are they not getting the ball in there? Why are they not getting the delivery in first time? But actually, it was really well worked. It was offside. It was the right decision. But you think if Steph could have just held her run a little bit, she was clearly in.
It was Risako Oga who was the last defender there. Made her debut in this tournament. It's a loose pass by Greenwood. She's made up for it. Bronze, pursued by Hasegawa, scored the 3rd goal against Brazil in their last game. Chance for Karen Carney to have a first run at this Japanese defence. Try to slip it through to Taylor. And that is where Japan are very dangerous. It's well cut out by Horton. The first effort on target, it was very far out and easily claimed by Yamane.
But Steph Horton did well there. That's exactly what England need to do, that aggressive pressure when the ball goes into them, because we know technically how good they are. Don't let them play.
Case in point.
Good timing.
They're all exceptionally comfortable on the ball. Happy to receive it pretty much in any space where they've been closed down.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about it before, weren't we? And we were saying that all the way through the age groups, that's exactly how they play. So when they progress through from even under 15s right the way through to the senior squad, they're used to playing, they're used to being comfortable on the ball. They can all play in different positions, and that's only going to help you as a player.
Free kick to Japan. There's Asako Takakura watching on. Shimizu. As you mentioned about the Japanese age groups, they had good success in the summer in France, lifting the under-20s World Cup. England didn't do too badly either, winning the bronze medal in that tournament. Georgia Stanway winning the silver boots. I think we will expect to see her at some point today.
Yeah. She performed really well in that tournament. And obviously Phil Neville watches her at club level, but I think that really just showed that she can play international level and really make an impact.
Bronze towards Mead. There's Oga. Sugita. Got rave reviews after that game against the USA. Sugita still very inexperienced, like most of this Japan team. Just 6 caps to her name. This is a promising move from Japan. Matsubara, though, is charged down by Kani. Here is Taylor. Now Christensen. A scuffed pass, and Lucy Bronze has dived in. Space for Hasegawa. That's well recovered by Kira Walsh.
Yeah, Kira Walsh did excellent there. Poor from Izzy Christensen, put Lucy Bronze under pressure that she didn't need to. And that's what you can't misplace your pass, or you can't underhit your pass, because straight away Japan read it. Their awareness is fantastic.
Kani. Making her 137th appearance in the national team. Here is Sugita. Oga.
And even though England have put out quite an inexperienced side, they still have that experience of the likes of Steph Houghton at the back and Karen Carney, and I'm sure they'll be helping, talking those players through that.
That's well recovered by Minami. Falls for Shimizu. And Sakaguchi into Junendo. That's a nice turn. Sugita. She may have been trying to thread the pass through to Hasegawa. As been mentioned in the build-up, this is the first meeting between these two since that fateful semi-final in Canada back in 2015, which left me crying in my living room. Thankfully, that's not such a regular occurrence these days.
Oh, it was awful.
And to have Laura Bassett in the studio and play it for her, that's particularly cruel, we thought.
I think she's just over it now. Yeah, just cruel circumstances.
Opportunity for England here. Jodie Taylor, nice feet. Oh, so close. Don't think the goalkeeper was sure about that one. Off balance, managed to get the shot away.
actually thought that was just going to sneak in. Good quick play here, nice ball in. Jodie Taylor, great first touch, and straight away, first thing on her mind is to turn and have a go at goal. And she just, as she was falling backwards, just couldn't get her foot round it to get it into that bottom corner. But great effort, and that's exactly what we know Jodie Taylor can bring to the side.
I think she was maybe just put off enough by the attentions of Minami. Lovely pass by Taylor. And the shot creeps in! What a start for England! And it's Lucy Staniforth with just her second goal for the senior team. Brilliant strike, and England hit the front inside the first 12 minutes.
Absolutely fantastic from Lucy Staniforth there. What a ball from Jodie Taylor. Initially, straight away, she sees the forward run of Lucy Staniforth. Great awareness, but she's got one thing in her mind. Perfect first touch, takes the ball out of her feet, and you can see she just looks up just before that, knows exactly where she's going to put the ball. Deserved that goal, deserved this start. Great play from England.
Yamane just got a hand to it, but really precise finish, wasn't it, from Lucy Staniforth? And what a pass from Taylor. The vision.
Yeah. Vision, awareness. She knew that Lucy Staniforth was going to make that forward run, but it's the ability to be able to execute it. Fantastic from Jodie Taylor.
Well, Japan have been behind before in this tournament. They've managed to come back. They're going to have to do it again. Haven't really got going so far, this Japanese side. Jodie Taylor showing all the qualities of an all-round striker.
Yeah. There's real competition between herself and Ellen White, something I'm sure Phil Neville is really pleased about. Because Ellen White performing in the other two games, and now Jodie Taylor's come in and showing exactly what she's about. Like you say, she's an all-round striker, isn't she? It's not just her goal-scoring ability, it's everything else that she brings, her link-up play, her awareness, her quality in passing, her running off the ball. That's what you want going into a World Cup.
She was very much the breakout star, really, of the last World Cup. Brought into the England squad fairly late on and then ended up with a golden boot.
Yeah. I think the fact that she plays her football everywhere, she's played in all countries, hasn't she? So she brings that experience of doing that, playing against different players, knowing how they play tactically, and those experiences are vital.
Here's Greenwood. Now Christensen. Very confident start to this game by England. Again, the ball looking for Staniforth. Sugita. Ikajiri just muscled off it, but here is Matsubara and now Shimizu. Watson's clearance. The foul goes Japan's way. Saka Ogo clattered in a Taylor and Mead sandwich.
It literally was. You could see all three players just had eyes on the ball. It certainly was a sandwich, wasn't it, for Oga?
Sakaguchi. Endo trying to play in Hasegawa. Bronze with the clearance again, asking Taylor to try and hold that up. Matsubara, in her second cap today. lovely ball to Shimizu. Goes early towards Ekijiri. Cut out by Williamson. Some questions as to whether this will be anywhere near the Japan squad that will go to the World Cup in the summer. A lot of inexperienced players, as we mentioned in the build-up. 5 have been given their first ever senior caps during this tournament. Perhaps a case of Saka Takakuro keeping her powder dry, especially seeing as these two will meet each other in the final game of their group. And suddenly just starting to grow in confidence a little bit, seeing more of the ball. Sakaguchi, Shimizu on the overlap. Sakaguchi finds the space to get the cross in. Only one to aim for, really, and calmly dealt with by Lucy Bronze, but that's a poor pass. And thankfully for her, that was an equally poor through ball from Matsubara.
You can see what Japan are trying to do, though. They're trying to create those overloads out wide, those 2v1 situations against the fullbacks. And they've got good delivery when they get into those situations. But thankfully for England, like you mentioned, there was only actually one player in the box, and Lucy Bronze was able to part clear.
In her second season at Lyon, Lucy Bronze scored 2 goals so far in all competitions. She made her England debut against Japan in June 2013. Hasn't really looked back since. Don't forget, we have all the warm-up games ahead of the World Cup right here on the BBC. Some good tests for England coming up as they warm up for France, Canada, Spain, Denmark and New Zealand across the BBC throughout April all the way to June, and then the tournament itself. Shimizu. Endo dropping a bit deeper. Bronze to Walsh. Now Mead. The debate rages on as to whether she meant that goal. She has assured us, apparently, that she did mean it. Though some people are still to be convinced.
I think we give her the benefit of the doubt, don't we? If a player says they meant it, we'll say it was a fantastic strike no matter what, and she has done those for Arsenal, so yeah, we'll give her that one. And again, she's another player who I think deserves a start, because she's come on, she's really made an impact. She's been very positive in her play, works really hard, again, doing well for her club. There's lots of positive signs going into this World Cup with these players in form and the competition for places now that Phil Neville has. And I think the girls mentioned it, there's still players back at home through injury or maybe not even being selected.
Flag is up against Jodie Taylor. You can see what England are trying to do, though.
Yeah. That's certainly the ball, whether it's Jodie Taylor running through, whether it's Lucy Staniforth, Izzy Christensen, whoever's making those forward runs, because I have mentioned it, but the 2 centre-halves aren't the quickest, and Jodie Taylor's rapid. So you think, great ball through, and just couldn't hold her run there.
Certainly a warning sign, though, for Japan. It's really going to be fascinating to see the starting 11s between these two in the summer.
Yeah, I think it'll be completely different.
It might well be.
Because it's such a difficult one, but of course you want to win this tournament. Be a great statement for the rest of the world if you can go and do that. You're playing against some of the best teams in the world, but inevitably the World Cup is the most important thing, so you don't want to show too much. I think both teams, you can see by the selection, is very different to how I see in the World Cup. Might be wrong.
Well, we'll soon find out. Karen Carney of Chelsea gets the cross in. Well held by Yon Mane. 6'1", the Japanese goalkeeper. Has crept out, so it's going to be an England throw. 1-0 they lead midway through the first half, thanks to Lucy Staniforth's goal. It's a good turn by Taylor. Oh, and it's 2-0. Karen Carney nods home England's second, and it's another assist for Jodie Taylor. And England surely have one hand on the SheBelieves Cup now.
Great play from Jodie Taylor again. Just watch how she uses her body. Just gets herself in the box first of all, but she just shields the ball away from the defender. Straight away, she knows where Karen Carney is. Good wing play from Karen Carney. She sees where Jodie Taylor is, where the ball's going to go. Makes sure she gets herself in off the line, makes herself that second centre forward. And it's a perfect ball to Karen Carney, but she has to finish it. Good header from her. Showed real experience, where to be, right time, right place, but excellent again from Jodie Taylor.
Well, she's really staking a claim tonight, Jodie Taylor. You're absolutely right. Where do you want your wingers when it's on the other side of the pitch? You want them anticipating that it is going to come to them, and that was perfect from Karen Carney. Not sure how many headers she has scored in her career, but
she directed that one really well.
Certainly did. And I think this inexperienced Japanese defence is just being shown up a tad now. They managed to cope just about with the barrage of attacks that Brazil mounted on them. But this is a very different beast that they're facing today.
Yeah. Brazil were very wasteful in their opportunities, whereas England have been clinical both times that they've got in, with the delivery and also with the finish. But yeah, defensively initially, don't let Jodie Taylor do that. Don't let her turn so easily in the box. Then try and block the cross, and then Karen Carney was completely unmarked. Yeah. And that is an experience.
Yeah, going between the two defenders a bit too easily. Here is Japan coming forward. Jima couldn't quite get onto that one. Hasegawa, now Matsubara. Carney with the challenge. Here is Matsubara once again. Now Shimizu. Of the 8 players in this Japanese squad who play for NTV Beleza, who won the last 4 L League titles, the Japan Domestic League. It's a good pass by Sugita. Kajiri. Back to the captain, Samashima. The knockdown was good, but when he found a red shirt with Kira Walsh. Carney being closed down. Fenced in. Poor pass from Oga. Carney. Actually, Beth Mead over the other side was wide open. Hasegawa. Oh, lovely pass in behind. And that is really well defended. Sakaguchi. It's been a long while coming. Karen Carney. Last international goal was in September 2016. Sugita.
I've been really impressed with England's shape. Because they're so difficult to play against Japan because they're constantly moving, constantly changing, interchanging positions, and yet England have just maintained that shape and they've made it difficult for Japan to break them down.
Phil Neville will see a nice clean sheet as a bonus. They haven't been as regular as he would have liked, just 1 in 5, and that was against Austria, I should say. Samashima with the nutmeg. Endo. Now Hina Sugita. Hasegawa. Space for Shimizu. That's a lovely dummy. Shimizu with the cross, and it's well cut out. Japan will come again. Bit of a speculative effort by Sakaguchi. Nearly took a nick of Ekajiri.
It's good play by Japan. Little dummy gets the ball out wide. Ends up with this shot, but again, you're looking at England's shape. They've stopped Japan from playing in between, getting those little through balls that they like to do. They're having to shoot from distance, which Carly Telford will be quite happy with that.
Really hasn't had much to do at all, has she, Carly Telford?
No.
We heard from her in the build-up. It's been a bit of a strange England career for her. This is her 17th appearance, having made her first one in March 2007. So very sporadic caps that she's won. Oh, what a pass that is from Kira Walsh. Top class. Now here comes Beth Mead. Taylor in the middle. Mead still going! And it's 3! Beth Mead. Well, she certainly meant that one. England in full control here.
Tell you what, Robin, this is pass of the tournament. What a ball that is from Kira Walsh. Great run from Beth Mead. Could have played it back, could have laid it back to Karen Carney coming in, but cuts in field onto her left foot, and what a strike this is. She certainly does mean that. I do think the goalkeeper could have done a little bit better there, but it was just the way she cut in. And the first thought in her head was to have a strike at goal. Excellent play.
We've seen her do this time after time for Arsenal, haven't we? So dangerous out wide. She's scored most of her goals from that position, hasn't she?
Yeah.
And it's like muscle memory for her now. And, well, this couldn't really have got much better for Phil Neville and his charges. Half an hour gone in the first half. 3-0 up.
What a start. You know, after the Brazil game, the USA game, England probably didn't start as well as what they would have liked. To battle back from a goal down. I'll tell you what, this is the perfect start.
As you quite rightly highlighted, Sue, an absolute Hollywood pass from Kira Walsh. We know she's got that in her locker.
To see it is one thing, but to execute it, absolute perfection that was. I don't think they do a pass of the tournament, but if there was one, she certainly would get it.
You never know. It's a slightly bizarre competition, this, isn't it? They might well do.
Yeah. But that's the confidence from Beth Mead as well. Like I say, she could have looked up and maybe give the ball to Karen Carney, who was coming in late. But the confidence to take it herself and then have that finish as well.
I'm sure the USA are keeping an eye on this and thinking, well, that might be our chance gone.
Yeah.
Winning this tournament, they needed a draw for them to have any chance of them winning this on their own patch. It's looking increasingly unlikely unless Japan can make up a pretty hefty deficit now. I'm sure England won't be complacent. But as we keep saying, this is a very inexperienced 11, let alone squad for Japan. They've got the likes of Saki Kumagai on the bench, who's played for Lyon for a number of years, won 3 Champions Leagues with them. I think it was her experience that helped them through that game against the USA, which they drew 2-2 in their opening game.
You can see that's what they're lacking. That experience, that leadership at the back. You know, even if she's not doing the defending, she's telling the other defenders where to go.
There's a chance here for Hasegawa. Just ran into Leah Williamson. They're missing a number of regulars, including 2 World Cup winners from 2011 who are very much still in the squad, in the midfielder Mizuho Sakaguchi and Mana Iwabuchi. I think a bit like Millie Bright and Jill Scott, just being left at home to manage their fitness ahead of the tournament. So although Phil Neville will be absolutely delighted with this, I'm sure he'll say he won't read too much into it going into the tournament.
Yeah, because they're key players to bring back in. Huge amounts of experience as well. But it's still got to be psychological advantage, hasn't it? If you know you've already beaten a side and beaten them convincingly. I know there's a long way to go in this game, but the way that England are playing, you can only see one result. One thing you can't do is write off this Japanese side, because they will keep going until the very end, and we do know that they're very clinical when they get opportunities in front of goal.
Carney just stopped by Shimizu for now. Out of play by Sakaguchi. Quite right, Sue. They've scored from both efforts against the USA, and they scored 3 goals from their 6 shots against Brazil. So very economical with their chances, but clinical. And I think that's credit to England that they haven't really got into those sort of positions. Bronze surging forward. Oh, Taylor's left it, and Christensen, well, absolutely clattered into Shimizu. And Christensen looks in a bit of trouble here.
Great play, Lucy Bronze. Look at her motor, that change of pace that she's got, that acceleration. Jodie Taylor again knows that she can't do anything with that little dummy for Izzy Christensen, sees that she's coming in. Quality, and yeah, Izzy's just going for the ball, and I think she's hurt herself there in doing so. But that came from Lucy Bronze, and that real burst of pace, that burst of energy on the right-hand side.
This does not look good. Getting a lot of joy down the wide areas, aren't they, England, though?
They really are. I think this is the... Does she twist slightly? Hopefully it's just a contact injury and she's okay, because you just want every player to be fit, don't you? This is the the downside, I suppose, of the friendlies. You just keep your fingers crossed that they're all okay. But yeah, that's where England are getting a lot of joy. Because both wide players, Beth Mead and Kaz Carney, they're clever. So if they don't stay out wide, they come in field, then you've got Alex Greenwood and Lucy Bronze getting forward from the full-back position.
She looks in a bit of pain, Izzy Christensen. We'll just have to wait and see. Because we thought, didn't we, earlier on that Nikita Paris had injured herself, and thankfully that wasn't as bad as it looked. So hopefully that's the same in this case.
I didn't think there was any way Nikita Paris would have carried on. And she came back on, carried on, had a fantastic game, then played the next game and again was excellent. So hopefully it's one of those.
You're allowed 6 substitutes in this tournament per game. It looks like Phil Neville will probably have to utilise one of them now, which is a real shame for Izzy Christensen. Places up for grabs in the midfield, you suspect. I think Kira Walsh on that pass alone maybe would have just cemented hers, but of course we'll have to wait and see. A long time to go. But you're absolutely right, when you're watching these players in the friendlies and in matches for their clubs, you just wince, don't you, whenever anyone goes down. And Georgia Stanway looks like she's going to come on a bit earlier than perhaps we suspected. But not a bad sub to have on the bench. Come on, she really impressed on her debut against Austria, scored as well. And as we mentioned earlier on, has tournament experience with the under-20s and the other age groups. England at the moment down to 10. Sugita. Shimizu just took her off the ball. And England are going to make the substitution now. Stanway on for Christensen. Just her 4th appearance for the senior team. And we'll just have to wait and see what the prognosis is for Izzy Christensen. Walsh invites Staniforth to get forward and once again wins the race. Samashima stands firm. Matsubara. Samashima, captain, most experienced player on the field, over 100 caps. It's a lovely pass to Matsubara. Can't quite find Sugita, cut out by Stanway. The Manchester City contingent grows. 8 players in the squad, and of course Jill Scott missing. Good take by Stanway. And can Jodie Taylor get her goal now? Not on this occasion.
What an introduction there, Georgia Stanway. First touch was just a little pass back. Second touch gets herself in between the lines. Lovely first touch on her chest, and then straight away knows Jodie Taylor's got the beating of them for pace, so plays it in behind. And very unlike Jodie Taylor, scuffs her shot slightly. Good run, just a poor shot at the end of it.
Kajia is Endo. Matsubara. And misplaced passes from Japan. It's Walsh. Mead just about gets there first. Sagawa lays it off to Sakaguchi. Now Matsubara. She had options, didn't take them. But a rare wasted effort from Japan.
Yeah, a little bit too much space there for my liking in the middle of the park. You could hear Carly Telford actually shouting, you know, that the midfielders need to you just got to stay switched on. These players, despite they're winning 3-0, these players, this Japanese side, they're young, but they can still get themselves back into it. So you don't want to let anything slip.
It's a good pass by Bronze towards Mead. Oga puts it out. Samashima's header. Ikajiri. And Sugita. Good work by Junendo. England snapping into the challenges. Endo pulled up for that one.
England certainly haven't, because Japan are known, they're quite aggressive in their tackle. They get stuck in, you know, they try and swarm you, so there'll be 2 or 3 players around you, but England haven't let that happen. They've moved the ball quickly, and they've been the one that's snapping into the challenges and stopping Japan from playing.
It's a rare misplaced pass from Steph Houghton. Likes to go for those long diagonals. England quite happy to allow Japan possession in these sorts of areas.
I think that's a sensible thing to do. You don't want to go chasing the ball. So it's know when to press, and when they do go, they all go together, and again, they seem to have done that really well.
2-minute stoppages at the end of the first half, which has certainly belonged to England. Hasegawa. Bronze brings it away. Here's Carney. Another lovely pass. Taylor will latch onto it. Staniforth. Carney. Williamson. Taylor goes down, doesn't really ask for the foul. Could this be an opportunity for Japan? Sakaguchi. defending by Greenwood, not allowing her to make room for the cross. Shimizu. Oh, that's a lovely pass. The cut back straight to Kira Walsh. That is the end of the first half, a very productive one from an England point of view. And Sue Smith, that really couldn't have gone much better, could it?
Oh, I think they've been excellent. I think off the ball, you know, their shape's been perfect. I think their work rate, they're getting back in when they need to. And then their quality going forward has been superb at times. And one thing, I suppose, that we have to say is clinical in their passing and in their finishing. So superb first half from an England perspective.
Staniforth, Carney and Mead with the goals for England, who are in full control at half-time. It's Japan 0, England 3.
Yeah, couldn't have really been much better of a first half for England. Laura Bassett, Alex Scott alongside me. Laura, that was just probably exactly what Phil Neville wanted to see.
Yeah, and all the players. It was, I said to Alex halfway through, is it easy as it is on the eye, as it feels out there? And I mean, it's just the perfect start, isn't it? My prediction goes way out the window. Ignore anything I say.
You're still sitting here waiting for
I need to apologise.
No, but I suppose from a opposition point of view, have you been quite disappointed with the challenge Japan have put up?
I'm obviously happy England are in the lead, but I feel disappointed in Japan's performance. It seems slow, and when we talk about Japan coming into this game, how good they are keeping the ball, I think they've been sloppy, and they just can't handle England in every single area. We highlighted before the game that the spaces would be out wide. Goals have come from those areas, but Japan are offering nothing, and I think the only 2 shots they have had have been outside the box, so not even troubled Carly Telford. But happy days for England.
Yeah, happy days indeed for England. It started off with Staniforth getting the first one, and it was a lovely goal from her point of view. A lovely little ball through from Jodie Taylor.
Yeah, it was. Jodie Taylor, her awareness, and Lucy Stan, this is a trademark of hers. We've seen it time and time again when she played for Sunderland and now at Birmingham, and I'm so happy for her because she just knows exactly where the keeper is. She has a look, but like you say, the ball from Jodie Taylor just to slip her in.
It's just so direct, her run, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a positive attitude that she's got the confidence to shoot from there. It was early on in the game, and it's a fantastic strike.
A great start for England, and for her as well. She's one of those players that are really trying to put their hand up and say, take me to the World Cup and put me in there.
And that's what Phil wanted, for you to step up and do it against a team like Japan, one of the best teams around in the world. So he knows going into a World Cup, you know what, you're there, you're for selection, I can throw you in on any game.
Another player who's had to sort of prove herself to Phil Neville after being injured is Karen Carney, and she just did brilliantly to get England second, coming in from that wide area to be right where you want a forward player to be.
Yeah, exactly, and I think she's encouraged to come in off the line and join up with Jodie Taylor as a second centre forward. But I think we see, you know, it's a great throw in from Lucy. Jodie does so well to roll the defender, puts an easy cross in, and Kaz does well to get in between the 2 defenders. You could argue it's really poor marking, but she's still got a lot to do to get in between the 2 defenders. And I think her legs split wider when the higher she jumps, and then I think it comes off her nose. Now I'm doing her a disservice there, but she does well. It's a perfect.
That's what you want from your wide players. Instead of hanging out, you want them to be in the box like that so they can get on the end of things. And Jodie Taylor, 2 assists so far.
Yeah, no, being a striker is not always about scoring goals, is it? Well, the third, we've got to give Beth Mead credit for her composed finish, but what about that pass?
Kira Walsh, I think she has grown into this tournament. Every single game she's getting better. We saw against the USA that she was controlling it a lot more. Lucy done a lot of the other work, but Kira on the ball. She is absolutely fantastic, and this is what we see time and time again, what she does for club at Manchester City. Just sprays those passes, and it was a great ball, and Beth Mead continues her form, coming inside and unleashing another great shot. But she's saying as well, this is what she needs to be doing because she's competing for that spot with Nikita Paris. So every time someone gets that shirt, this is the performances you need to get be putting in. But it is a great finish once again from Beth Mead.
It is. Before she cuts in on her left foot, it's exactly the same position what we saw her the other night when she scores that fantastic goal. So I actually thought we were going to see a repeat at one point, but she does cut in and she just shows that she's so competent on her left and right foot.
I think actually as she cuts inside, she's waiting for someone to arrive in the box. She sees no one's there, she's like, I'm going to go for it myself.
Yeah, it's so composed, and that's exactly the positives of this tournament, is seeing players like Keira Walsh and Beth Mead get an opportunity to play against top teams in the world and show what they can do.
Yeah, and then we've spoke about Phil and the lineup today, about why is he changing all these and making all these changes, the inexperience. But this is the performance that we want to see. And yes, I am disappointed in Japan, but you can't take nothing away from this England performance. You still have to go out there. You still need to bring the tempo. You still need to bring the standards. And I think that's what Phil should be saying at half-time. Yes, it is comfortable. We are 3-0 up, but we can't let our standards drop. We need to keep improving and let's finish this tournament well.
Only one real negative of that first half is the injury to Izzy Christiansen. It looked a nasty one.
Yeah, it really did, and I think all of our hearts sunk as soon as we saw it, just because you don't want it to happen to anybody, and the way she's committed, she's tried to, you know, fully commit to that cross, and you just saw her ankle get stuck, a knee follow through, and the weight follow through, and to see a player in tears in a game and leading up to the World Cup, we just hope that it's not serious.
It's a difficult balancing act, isn't it, playing in warm-up matches to a World Cup, because you don't want anybody to suffer anything like this.
Yeah, and at the same time, you can't go into these sorts of games thinking, oh, I'm worried about in case I get injured at a World Cup, because then if you go in half-assed for tackles, you do end up getting like that. But this is the worry with going into tournament football. And this is why a squad's so important, because there's going to be so many twists and turns. We've still got so many games left in the WSL, so you don't know what's going to happen, and that's why you need every single person in the squad ready to go.
It does give an opportunity to Georgia Stanley. Nobody wants to come on because of an injury, but again, another young player with an opportunity to play against although not tonight, perhaps a quality side in the terms of Japan's performance, but a big side in a tournament with silverware at the end of it.
Yeah, that's right. And I think you've seen Georgia Stanway's quality already. Within minutes, she chested the ball and put a through ball into Jodie Taylor. So it's an exciting second half for her.
It is indeed. Well, there is more football coming for you on the BBC this week. 5 Live have commentary of Manchester United at PSG in the Champions League. The Premier League show returns on Thursday at the new time of 7 o'clock. And England's women are back in Manchester for a World Cup warm-up against Canada on April the 5th. Well, we've certainly had a few goals tonight already, but let's have some more, because Scotland's women are playing in the Algarve Cup. They lost their opener to Canada on Friday, but yesterday they took on Iceland.
There's a shot from Arnett, and she drills it into the bottom left corner of the net. It's a great start for Scotland here in the second game in the Algarve Cup. Emsley here in the box, tries to drive that one back for Cuthbert. She's there and she manages to tuck that one into the bottom right corner. Brilliantly taken for Erin Cuthbert. Little again, and it's a goal for Scotland. It's a shot and it's in the net, and Iceland have one back. Darren takes it down the chest, 1-on-1 with the keeper. Oh, straight at her, but she'll get the second chance. And she finally gets it in. Iceland 1, Scotland 4.
A really positive result for Scotland, and that's exactly what we've been saying about England tonight. That's exactly what you want Scotland to be getting a taste of, a big win against a team that they were competing against in the Euro qualifiers just a few years ago as the top seeds.
Yeah, exactly. And Iceland are really physical, so that performance and scoring that many goals against a side like that will give Scotland a lot of confidence.
Yeah, indeed, and nice to see some of the players coming in. Lizzie Arnott getting a couple of goals, and a few other players coming in and getting a taste of that kind of camp experience and playing against nations like Canada on Friday night.
Yeah, I'm sure some of those players, as Lizzie Arnott, will be wondering whether she's in the 23 to go to the World Cup. So again, like you say, for them to perform under pressure in tournaments like that is brilliant.
Yeah, well, it's a good result for them. They play again tomorrow, but it is 3-0 in Tampa. The whole of the second half of England against Japan is to come. But first, let's head pitchside, where Jo Curry has a familiar face with her.
Yes, I've been lucky enough to be joined by the former Birmingham City manager, now the boss of Orlando Pride, Mark Skinner. Mark, you can't argue with the scoreline at half-time. Are you surprised with just how easy England have made this look?
Do you know what? Maybe you could say that, or whether it's credit to England for the way that they've come out and performed. I think, you look at they're organised, they're in a position where they can counter-attack a Japanese team that like to keep possession. So I think it's clever, and I think they deserve all the credit to be 3-0 up. They've been ruthless in the final bit, so fair play to England, all credit to them.
3 good goals, one of which is from one of your former players, Lucy Staniford. Tell us a bit about what she's like on and off the field.
I think she's a perfectionist. I'm not surprised that she can do that at this level. Lucy has the ability to go on and be an England international for many, many years. I think she's dedicated to her cause, and she has the true quality that only special players have. So I'm really pleased she's got that goal, and I hope she gets many more in the future.
The fact that she scored, Beth Mead has scored, Leah Williamson's playing well. They're really making a case to be on that plane to France this summer, aren't they?
And too right. I mean, who wouldn't want to be on the plane to go to France? So I think that there's a lot of talented players in England, and all credit to the FA and for the way that the FAWSL has produced the league to the standard it is, and hopefully we can go and represent and be successful in the World Cup.
Phil's obviously already lost Izzy Christensen in this game to injury, but if you were manager and you looked around that dressing room at half-time, what main changes would you be tempted to make in the second half?
I think I keep it the same for a short while, see how the game ebbs out. They're in full control, so I keep control and then look to counter. So once he gets to a comfortable time in the game, look to use your counter-attacking abilities from the bench, and then maybe play some more minutes for girls that need a few to see where they're at. But they've put themselves in a great position to decide what he wants to do.
Well, look, while we've got you, I want to ask you, how's the new job going? You've brought the English weather with you, but you're going to be managing some huge players at Orlando. You're back in training this week. How's it going?
Do you know what? I think if you manage huge players, you have to understand their people. So I'm just going to do what I do, which is I'm going to go and work with people that like to play football or soccer in this country, and try and do the best to help them be successful. My job is to do that, and anybody that knows me knows I'm dedicated to do that. So hopefully when the weather comes back, we can go out and be in sunny days. But no, I'm really, really looking forward to it, and all I've seen so far is positive vibes. So hopefully we can be super successful going into this season.
Well, look, Mark, your other half, Laura Bassett, is back in the studio. Any message for Laura?
Just make sure Sadie's in bed by a reasonable time, and I can't wait to see you soon.
Well, for Mark and I, it's back to you in the studio.
It's been a while since
he could have dressed up for the occasion. He's only got a black t-shirt.
Mark said about Sadie being in bed. Bass is normally saying that she's in bed by this time.
No, she is all tucked up in bed, I think.
Yeah, Nanny's on duty.
Yeah, it's been a while since you've seen him, but what a fantastic opportunity for both of you.
I know, yeah, it's really, really exciting, unplanned and unexpected, but yeah, really, really excited, and hopefully it's better weather than what it looks like.
Yeah, I think the sun will come out eventually, but it looks like he's been having quite a good time from what we've seen on social media as well.
Yeah, it certainly does. You know, all the social media content is really good, and all the players are really excited.
He does have some huge players in that Orlando Pride squad. Alex Morgan, Marta, just being two of them. It will be not a different challenge, but perhaps sort of trying to manage players who have those high expectations.
Yeah, I think at Birmingham, you know, he was striving to break down barriers, to keep push for Birmingham to finally win something since 2012 when they won the FA Cup. Whereas now he's going to manage players that have won World Cups, and they have expectations, and they want to be coached, they want to be better, and they want to be successful. So it'll certainly be a great test for him, but one that you certainly want to relish in.
You've played out in the States, Alex. How different will the NWSL be to the WSL here?
I think what Laura, I should say, just touched on. He's going to a group of players that are used to winning in major tournaments, and they always want to learn and progress. So I think it's a great opportunity for Mark to be in an environment like that. And actually, for me, I grew as a person in that environment. I learned so much as a player and a person as well, just being in a different environment.
There's quite a few English coaches over there. What do you think it is about the English coaching style that they seem to like to bring over to the American League?
Well, I think it's the mixture. When I went and played in America, they taught me a different mentality. Technically, I think the English game is better than in America, but that's what Mark will bring to their game as well. So it's that good balance.
Yeah, I'm sure he's excited. 14th of April, I think you said, the first game of the season against Portland Thorns, who were in the championship final last year. It's a big challenge.
Yeah, it certainly is. I'll be there in the purple wall, lighting up my flares. No, it certainly is, and I think what a better way to start. You want to beat the best, and you've got to punch yourself up against them.
Well, we certainly wish both of you all the very best over there. But let's see now if England can continue their fine form in this second half.
If we have a winner, the victor will claim the SheBelieves Cup. Lovely pass by Taylor, and the shot creeps in! What a start for England! Oh, it's 2-0, Karen Carney, and it's 3! And England surely have one hand on the SheBelieves Cup now.
Well, the players are back out on the pitch, ready for this second half. Very comfortable first half. Japan surely will have to change it.
Yeah, you want to see more from their players and getting on the ball and testing England's back line. But I think for England, I want them to be ruthless. I want to see more goals, keep that standard going and set examples as well. You're competing for places, so keep the standards high.
And you can set a real kind of message to a lot of countries who'll be sitting here watching this. If England can go and have a similar second half, they'll sit up and take notice of what England can bring to the World Cup.
Yeah, it's a massive chance to make a huge statement to everyone that's watching and to finally lift that cup. So fingers crossed we want more in the second half.
Well, let's get back out with your commentary team. Sue Smith is alongside Robin Cowan.
Thank you, Ailey. It looks like Japan have made at least a couple of changes at the break. Yes, we'll see them here. So Ikejiri off for Kumi Yokoyama. A lot more experience. And Rikaku Kobayashi as well on. So a couple of changes in the front line. We'll see if they can make any difference and perhaps cause this England defence a few more problems than they did in that first half. So it did seem too easy, didn't it, for England? And I think it's probably a combination of both, isn't it? Japan looked very flat, but England just got it spot on, didn't they?
Definitely. England were completely in control of the first half. I thought you've got to praise England and the way that they have gone about this game, the work rate off the ball, but how the quality that they've had on the ball. But I've been disappointed with Japan. You know, we're used to seeing Japan not give the ball away, create lots and lots of opportunities. And yeah, it's been really flat from them. And you just think England need to start this second half exactly how they played the first half.
Japan ranked 8th in the world. Previous World Cup winners. Runners-up in 2015. Samashima loses out. It looks like Matsubara has moved into the heart of the defence. Sako Takakura has utilised her squad during this tournament. She's done so again here. That's a good run by Kobayashi. Pass easily cut out by Staniforth. Sugita. Yokoyama. Kobayashi! Already, within the first 3 minutes, Japan have caused more problems than the entire first half.
Yeah, Kobayashi straight away has made an instant impact. Lovely little bit of play there. It was just a finish that let her down. But you can see even from her first touch, it was positive. Wanted to go forward, wanted to make things happen. Actually made a run in behind England, which they hadn't done at all in the first half. They'd been very much in front of the back four. So, you know, this is a different test now for Steph Houghton and Leah Williamson, dealing with someone that wants to run in behind.
Kobayashi did score against Brazil in the previous game in the SheBelieves Cup. It's only her third appearance, but she's certainly impressed in a front two with Yokoyama. It's good, strong play. Japan already looking more composed. Samashima into the last 2 World Cups. Yokoyama. Hasegawa. Promising. We'll confirm that actually they've made another change. Mamiki, number 15, is on as well. So lots of changes for Japan. Mamiki, who scored in the previous 2 games in the SheBelieves Cup, terrific goals as well. You can see what a difference it's already made, a focal point of the attack. They had 2 very inexperienced youngsters in the first half. Hasegawa. Mamiki. Good positioning by Kira Walsh. Even struggling to get out of their half at the moment, but Kobayashi, a misplaced pass. Tenacious play by Kobayashi to win it back. Hasegawa, Yokoyama, Mamiki, Hasegawa. Pulls the shot wide.
It's completely different. Japan's side, isn't it, in this second half, the way that they've started, their intensity, their movement.
So England make the change. Jodie Taylor. Terrific first half. And so the energy and industry of Ellen White on for the majority of this second half. She's immediately trying to get onto this pass. Samashima gets there first. Yamane. Nearly closed down by Ellen White. Here's Karen Carney. Greenwood crosses in. Oh, it's not convincing. Eventually it is cleared by Hasegawa. Six minutes after half-time, the substitutions are confirmed by the stadium announcer. It's well played by Staniforth. Great take by Mead. In confident mood.
What a touch that was. To bring that down. Such quality. And then, like you say, it's just the confidence to have a go at goal. If she knows she's got the capabilities to strike from there and make the keeper work. She couldn't quite get it on target.
Here is Yokoyama. Japan work it well to Hasegawa. Here's Samashima. Samashima with the effort. Always rising.
They did that a couple of times in the first half where they do try to create overloads on either wing. So whether it's both the full-backs will get forward either side or a midfielder will come across. And, you know, I think Beth Mead and Karen Carney have done well to get back into their position and try and make it difficult. But you've just got to be aware that that's something that they'll continue to do. And, you know, they had that chance then, but thankfully for England, it a little bit wayward.
As we mentioned in the first half, they are usually very clinical. They pick the chance to take the shot. Here is Yokoyama, keeps it in. The cutback nearly fell to Mamiki. Horton got there first. England doing a lot more defending in this second half. They're being forced into it. And actually it was interesting because it was when Japan lost their way against Brazil in their last game when Takakura made multiple changes and they managed to get a foothold in the game and ended up winning it. They weren't 3-0 down, of course, but it must be very good to know that you can make substitutes that will make an impact.
Definitely. And it also lifts the players that are on the field as well. You know, if you bring a player on that has got that quality and that ability to make something happen, it just lifts the whole side. England just need to keep playing the way that they've been playing, keep defending as they did, but keep that shape that they did in the first half.
It's a good ball by Horton. Ooh, Yamane just about dealt with that. I think she didn't realise how far she was out from her goal. Here's Georgia Stanway. Staniforth. Carney allowed to bring that down. Greenwood dispossessed. So next up for England, it's a warm-up game. Friday, April the 5th against Canada at the Academy Stadium. Poor clearance by Samashima. Beth Mead has picked out Karen Carney. Ellen White can't get through.
That's still the ball though for England, isn't it? The long, more direct ball for the pace of now Ellen White and Beth Mead on this right-hand side. They can't cope with that.
Sugita. Won the MVP award at the under-14s at the 2014 World Cup under-17s, coached by Asako Takakura. She's come through the ranks in terms of coaching the under-17s and the under-20s, and now into the senior team as the coach. Ellen White around Matsubara. Karen Carney belatedly making her way into the box. It's a good cross. Now this is where Japan are dangerous on the break. Yokoyama allowed to turn. Goes for goal herself. Hasegawa was the pass to the left-hand side.
Yeah, she had better options, didn't need to strike from that distance. Not going to challenge Carly Telford from there. She's a great shot stopper. But England just backing off a little bit. Can someone go and engage and just make it more difficult? In the end, it was a poor shot, but I just think someone maybe with a bit more quality have to engage quickly.
That's good pressing by Japan. England get away with it. Kira Walsh. They're finally realising that Walsh can't be given that much time and space. Bronze gets there first. Samashima. Dangerous, but Narumi Miura just about got away with that one. This is more of the Japan that we expect to see. Yokoyama, bit of a heavy touch. Horton got a foot in. Yokoyama, lovely pass. Chance from Japan, and Mamiki couldn't find the target. The angle was tight.
spoke about how clinical Japan have been in these last 2 games that we've watched. What a ball that was from Yokoyama. Good run, and you can see what she's trying to do. She's trying to dink it over the top of Carly Telford, but just can't get her angles right.
Kira Walsh makes way. And Gemma Bonner gets her first minutes of the SheBelieves Cup. To see what that does to the formation or the personnel. That might mean that Lucy Bronze moves back into midfield, with Gemma Bonner moving to right back. It's a position she's played almost exclusively for Manchester City this season. She's performed well.
Yeah, she has. She can play centre half, but yeah, she's played the majority of the season, hasn't she? At full back, and yeah, she's done an excellent job there. Again, another player that's in form that he's picked. Chance for her to show her qualities at this level.
It was her first senior appearance since November 2017. It's been a while. I think the move to Manchester City has certainly helped her cause. Here is Mamiki. Just 22 years old, already 8 goals to her name. Kobayashi. Miki. It's an easy take for Carly Telford. And they managed to get closer to goal, but they haven't really tested Telford, have they?
No, they haven't. No, not at all. And a lot of the times they have took the long-range shot when probably a better option was on.
Yui Hasegawa. Yokoyama. It's a good run. There's Mura. You could probably hear the Carly Telford confident of that going out of play.
But that's great. That's what you want to hear, is that you want to hear your goalkeeper communicating and telling the defence what to do.
It's Carly Lloyd, the USA, hoping for 3 goals for the Japanese, I think, in this second half. I'm afraid if they don't, the United States game against Brazil is a bit of a damp squib. Brazil 0 points so far. And the USA needed this game to be a draw for them to have any chance of their winning the SheBelieves Cup. Samashima. Nice shimmy. Sugawa. It's good play. Sugita on the overlap. Ball here to Kobayashi. Now Yokoyama. Mura. So free kick to Japan, but Lucy Staniforth is down injured.
I'm not sure if she just got caught later. Yeah, you could see. Studs on the top of their foot, wasn't it? But since Yokoyama and Kobayashi have come on, they've made such a difference. They do different moves, so one will come short into the little pockets of space, one will go long, and they're just making Japan look a better side, don't they? And it's more difficult for England to pick them up. Just that experience, I suppose.
The odd decision that the free kick's gone Japan's way. Staniforth clatters, but there you go. Hasegawa. Pass to Kobayashi. Straight to Alex Greenwood. And a long-range shot on target. But again, just catching practice for Carly Telford. This is good for England, though, isn't it? Because they need to show their defensive side, something they didn't really have to in that first half at all.
So easy for them, wasn't it, defensively? This is more of a test for them.
Good work by Hasegawa. Minami striding out of defence. Shimizu. Miura. It's good movement. Mimiki just crowded out. They're stopped.
This was the shot from outside the box, wasn't it? It was quite an easy take for Carly Telford. Not being tested, hardly at all.
That would have been a spectacular first ever goal for Arisa Matsubara. Just her second appearance, made her debut in the first game against the USA. And here we go, get to see Chuma Ubagagu, who's come on, and also Tony Duggan, with Karen Carney making way. So wholesale changes to this England side now.
Both Kaz Carney and Beth Mead, I think they've been excellent. The work rate off the ball as well as the quality on the ball.
Ubagagu wasn't initially called up for this tournament. A replacement for Jill Scott, who was withdrawn late on to manage an injury. But she did make a goal-scoring debut against Austria. There's Ellen White, who was head down and nearly forgot to take the ball with her. Duggan wins the corner, or a throw. Gemma Bonner. Stanway. Horton sends it forward. It's going to be picked up by Bonner. Very high up. If you're confused by some of the Pirate memorabilia around the stadium, it is the stadium of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the NFL team. Stadium capacity of over 66,000. I'm sure the crowd will swell once the USA kick off against Brazil. Although, as I hate to say it, Sue, they won't have anything to play for.
I know.
Unlikely.
They'll still want to win that last game, won't they?
Of course.
But they'll be really disappointed.
I think some of the pundits from the USA have been very critical because, of course, they expect an awful lot.
Well, they do. Yeah, the expectations are so high every time USA take to the field.
Greenwood's delivery, just over the head of Ellen White.
She's got such a sweet left foot, hasn't she, Alex Greenwood? This is a great delivery. It's exactly where you want it. Ellen White just couldn't get anything on it. They always just say aim for the far post, and if it doesn't hit anyone, it just sneaks in. Oh, it's so close.
It's good play by Yokoyama. Hasegawa comes off Williamson, now Kobayashi. Yokoyama, wide. wasteful again from Japan.
Really wasteful. You know, they managed to wriggle their way through to a good goal-scoring opportunity. And just really snatches at the shot. But England need to be better there defensively. Getting a little bit too much time and space. Not picking up their players.
Japan have it back. It's a strong challenge by Kobayashi. A lovely slide rule pass from Stanway to Ellen White. Ubagagu's making her way towards the back post and so nearly makes it 4-0 to England.
And it's a real quick counter, isn't it? Stanway to Ellen White, and you know, you can see she just picks her head up, sees Ubagagu coming in at the far post, and perfect delivery. But I think the defender just puts her off just in front of her. I don't know if it takes a slight touch, which flicks up. She can't direct the header, but good play from Ellen White, and again from Ubagagu to get herself into the box.
It's a really poor pass. Surely this will be 4 for England. No. Ellen White slips at the vital moment. Sloppy play from Japan, and Minami nearly cost her side another goal.
Really poor play from Japan. You've got someone like Ellen White who's so alert, so on her toes. She'll just be disappointed with the finish there. Got herself into a good goal-scoring position and couldn't quite finish it off.
Staniforth thinks she expected Ubagagu to make the run. We heard from Mark Skinner at half-time. The new manager of Orlando Pride, Ubagagu, will be one of his players. It's good play by Stanway. Duggan. White's. Bonner. Bronze. And a foul's been given against Ellen White.
Georgia Stanway's just fit into that midfield, hasn't she? Real seamlessly, and you just think, you know, she's a young player coming in. You know, there's got to be nerves and things there, but I think she's been excellent.
She doesn't strike me as that type of person, to be honest. She's got that brilliant mix of technical ability and also physicality.
Yes.
Not afraid to mix it, is she?
No, you're right.
Asagawa to Sugita. She'll get a second go at this. Asagawa in behind, bit of a heavy touch.
Yeah, and Phil Neville spoke, didn't he, about trusting all of his players, all of the 23 players. He's prepared to play them, and I just think that's so important going into a tournament. That's going to give you a huge boost. Big touch out of her feet.
Well, Japan have had their chances in this second half. Kobayashi. One of those who's made a big impact since coming on. Asagawa. Lovely pass. Shimizu trying to get around Ubagagu. That's well played. Doing her defensive duty well. And getting England up the pitch. Stanway. Duggan. Greenwood. Gagu. Can't quite get past Shimizu. Sugita pulled up for a handball.
Great play from Gagu. Initially good defending, and then straight away she's on the front foot, wanting to go forward.
That is very encouraging, those wide positions, particularly tonight, if England have shone.
They really have. They've had to use them. They've certainly used them well. There's a real mix in there, isn't there?
Stanway. We know she can score from range. She's done it often enough for Manchester City.
You've seen her on numerous occasions do this from that area as well. Both for club and country at the younger age groups.
Play by Hasegawa under pressure. Still manages to find a teammate. Shimizu. And Namiki. Not seen too much of her in the last 10 minutes or so. 15 minutes to go. Kobayashi. Sugita. Duggan can't get past Samashima. Now Hasegawa. England go back with Ellen White. Challenged by Matsubara. Space over on that far side for Yokoyama. Here's Mamiki. Gets it back. Promising. Gagu slides in, Yokoyama, and Sugita inches wide.
Thought that was in. Thought that was sneaking in at the far post. Look at this play. Absolutely brilliant. This is what we expect from Japan. Great delivery to the far post. Steph Houghton, you think she's just done enough to get the header, but it falls to Sugita, who is probably one of their best players technically, does the right thing, heads it back across goal. Just can't get it on target.
Just a glimpse of what Japan can offer. We haven't seen that enough, really, tonight. Shimizu on the Miki, dropping deep once again. Hasegawa. Yokoyama. And again, it's not as straight into the path of Kobayashi. And the first real meaningful save that Carly Telford has had to make.
Good straight this. As it lands to Kobayashi, Alex Greenwood doesn't get the delivery right. Don't head it back into the central areas. Try and head it out wide. Real powerful shot. But again, straight at Carly Telford. Had to use her reactions, but, you know, it's a save you would expect her to make.
I think that's our first corner of the game for either side, which is slightly unusual with just over 10 minutes left to play. It's Mamiki to deliver for Japan. To the near post towards Mamini. England can break here. Ubagagu. Great play. Past Mura. Norm making that run into the box.
Certainly showing some pace, isn't she? Ubagagu on this left-hand side. Just the final ball. There's nobody in the box, so maybe just turn back, keep the ball.
Another substitution for Japan. It is Sato Maegawa. Come on, straight swap for Risa Shimizu. Maegawa's second appearance. On the senior side, both coming in this tournament. So whether they make it to the World Cup or not, these debutants, what a brilliant experience they've had.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, just to experience this tournament situation as well, playing against some of the best players in the world. Just testing yourself, isn't it?
10 minutes left and England still very much comfortable. And another substitution for England, Frank Kirby. Coming on, Lucy Staniforth, who got things going early on in that first half, first goal, her second for England.
Yeah, she's been superb, hasn't she? I think she's had a really good game. You know, if you're a Japanese player, seeing Frank Kirby come on, that's the last thing you want to see.
And Phil Neville clearly very much sees Frank Kirby as the withdrawn number 10. Really, under Mark Sampson and others, well, exclusively under Mark Sampson actually, she really just played as a striker.
I do like her in that number 10 role. She's so clever to find those little pockets, and it's quite fluid, isn't it? So if she does go forward, Ellen White would drop in, or Jodie Taylor, whoever's playing in the 9. And I think that's what they want. They want that movement of positions, and so difficult to mark then as a defender.
Duggan. Much weight on that towards Kirby. Mamiki. Matsubara. Duggan with the interception. Well, this will be Japan's first defeat in 9, unbeaten the previous 8, 7 wins during that period. Ubagagu, another good turn. It's good vision by Ellen White to leave it for Tony Duggan. Being closed down, just didn't release it quite soon enough. Good battling by Duggan to try and get it back. They just swarm on you, don't they?
They really did. There was 4 or 5 players around, there wasn't there? As soon as Tony Duggan decided to come inside, that was it. They were just round and stopping her from playing. I wonder, would a better option have been to maybe go on the outside? You know, she's capable of doing that little step over, go on the outside. But good play again from Ubergagu. You can just see there, straight away, 3-4 players.
It has been pointed out by some that England do have a lack of left-footed players, and that hasn't... Some feel that might not be a problem, but Ubergagu is left-footed, and apart from the left-backs, she is the only one, so that might be a positive on her part. Great clearance by Tony Duggan. Asigawa, Yokoyama, Sugita. It's marshalled out by Steph Horton, who commits the foul. I don't think there was any intent in that. I don't think she's very happy. But the referee's given that, and a yellow card to boot.
It's not a yellow card. Lovely bit of skill here, great feet. Steph just puts a hand across, which as a defender, that's your first instinct to do. You know, you don't need to go down like that. It is a foul, but goes down completely unnecessarily.
Well, a real opportunity this for Japan. It's a bit of a tricky angle. We'll see what they can conjure up here. Less than 5 minutes left to play. Mamiki to Yokoyama. Back to Mamiki. Delivers it into the box. That's going to be a corner kick. Telford wants that clean sheet. Miki's corner. It's gone all the way through to Kobayashi. Saved by Telford. And away come England. Ubergagu. Here's Bonner. It's a lovely pass. Tony Duggan. You can see what she was trying to do. Spotted the run of Ellen White.
Yeah, you could. Ellen White did well because she started out wide and just came as the underlap, and Tony Duggan seen it, but so did the Japanese defence.
Kobayashi. Miura. Mamiki towards Sugita. Challenged well by Bronze. Hasegawa to Samashima. Yokoyama's shots charged down by Horton. Ubergagu once again getting the better of the Japanese players, trying to stop her in her tracks.
Yeah, this was the Carly Telford save. It's good to see as well defenders behind her, back on the line. You know, Alex Greenwood was there. It was another defender on the other side. They're desperate to keep that clean sheet, and that's great. You know, you're winning the game 3-0. You could just relax, but it's that perfection that Phil Neville, he's instilled into these players. So it's just the result, they want the performance as well.
What a great clearance by Telford, and equally so, Lucy Bronze. Yokoyama, Miura with the shot. It's well played by Ellen White, picking the pocket of Sugita. just trying to close the game out now. So we think this is this is going to be fairly similar to the squad that will go to the World Cup. So I put you on the spot. Do you think there'll be any surprises? There's still time to go, isn't there?
There is, and there always is, isn't there?
Yeah.
When you look at squads, whether it's in the men's game or the women's game, there's usually one surprise. And I love the fact that Phil Neville said he doesn't know he's 23 yet, and it's still open. And you know, if you're performing at club level, then you've got that opportunity, because it just gives some of those players that are maybe, you know, on standby, or they think they've got a chance to get in. But you would think this is pretty much his 23, with obviously we mentioned the other players that are left at home through injury. So it's going to be tough for him to, first of all, pick his 23, but then pick his 11 from that. And that's great that we've got this competition for places now.
Duggan. Kirby. That's a good idea. It's well read by Magower. 2 minutes left. England in their 4th season taking part in this tournament will be lifting the SheBelieves Cup. Will they be holding out for a clean sheet? Here's Mura.
So we've not really mentioned Leah Williamson, but she's quietly gone about her business, hasn't she? You know, just slotted in there at centre half. We know technically she's very good, but defensively, she hasn't done anything wrong. I think she had another very good game, took her opportunity, as of the rest of the players.
Really impressed with her all round. And I think it's been pointed out by others as well that it's a handball by Ellen White, that mentally she's very tough, and she fronted up after missing that penalty in the Continental Cup final. She talked to the press and she spoke very eloquently as well.
Yeah, she did.
For someone so young, and it's those sort of characters you need.
Definitely. Yeah, she deserves a huge amount of praise for that.
Yokoyama. Sugita. Lovely skill. Here is Mamiki. Forced wide. Here is Magower. Sugita. It's a good challenge by Stanway. And here's Kirby. Ellen White's making her way forward. That looked like a foul, but maybe not. Don't think it's going to matter. There it is, full time. England win the SheBelieves Cup. It is a friendly tournament, but a tournament nonetheless. And England win it in the USA, Sue.
I'll tell you what, that will send out a statement to the rest of the world, because that was a fantastic professional performance. First half, I thought they dominated it, made it look really easy. Second half, they had to defend, and they did. Excellent from an England perspective.
Much more analysis to come with the pundits in the studio, Alex Scott and Laura Bassett. But celebrations can start before the final game at the SheBelieves Cup, because England have beaten Japan by 3-0.
celebrations for England. They are the SheBelieves champions. Alex, you've done a lot of believing in this studio over these 3 games. And it has
Did it rub off on you, Beth?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I felt it. It has worked. England have won it for the first time. And you can see the celebrations. You know, it might be a friendly tournament, but this means a lot.
Of course, it's that winning feeling, and that will give the team confidence now going into the World Cup. There's a lot of things that still need to work on, but so many positives to take from this tournament, and you get to pick up some silverware.
Indeed, and like Robin was saying in commentary, it does send a message to other nations, because the USA are generally expected to win this, and they've drawn with England and they've drawn with Japan on their own patch.
Yeah, that's right. USA have a lot of expectations on them, and for England to go over there now and win that, and like you say, make a big statement. But England have ticked a lot of boxes, rotated a lot. A lot of players have got game time, fantastic goals, clean sheet. You know, big ticks all round.
Yeah, there's so many positives for Phil Neville to take. Like Laura said, not just in the results, but in the performances and in the players who've got minutes.
Absolutely. In the game today, it was all about taking your chance. Lucy Staniforth scoring a great goal, saying, yep, I'm here for selection going into the World Cup, and that's what Phil wanted, and that's why he started them today. It would have been easy for him to go with the players that have been playing before, yes, going all out to win it, but he showed faith in those players today.
It was pretty much done at half-time, Laura, with the 3-0 scoreline, but it was a much improved Japan team that came out in that second half, and they showed that despite having quite a few players missing, they will be a force at this World Cup.
Yeah, that's right, and one thing's for sure, that the game between these two sides will look very different in the World Cup. But I think we saw in the second half their performance couldn't have got any worse, but we saw their connectivity, their linking passes and their precision and calmness in those areas in that final third. And I thought they were unlucky not to get a goal, but then on the plus side, I'm glad that England kept the clean sheet.
Yeah, they move the ball so well. I was going to say, we know how technical they are, but their movement in that second half was much improved.
I think Phil would have learned a lot more about his players in the second half when Japan actually showed up and started playing, because they was finding the spaces. They found spaces through midfield, which was a worry, and that's the lessons Phil will now look at from that second half moving forward.
You spoke about at half-time about continuing the aggression in the second half. Is there a little bit of disappointment that Japan were allowed to come back into it?
Yeah, well, that's Japan's strength. When they get the play, they move it quickly in wide areas, and that's where England will learn lessons. But overall, I think the things England need to take away from this tournament, once again, in the second half, Japan nearly got in from a set play from a corner. So once again, that shows highlights that they need to work in those areas. And ball retention, I think, for England still needs to be better.
Yeah, still lots to work on before the World Cup, but they did have some chances in that second half as well, Laura.
They did. The substitutes injected some energy into tenacious play and going forward. I think Chi made a good impact with Ellen White, Frank Erpit. So it was really good. And then the cross there, you know, that was pinpoint from Ellen White, absolutely pinpoint. I think it just gets a nick off the defender's head, which maybe puts Chi off a little bit. But it was pleasing that the last 20 minutes we did create those chances that could have made to 4 and 5-0.
I think that's the thing, besides this one, before I was about to say, in this tournament, that's what I'm happy about England, because I think in the friendly games, in the qualifiers, we've been wasteful in front of goal. We've not put away those chances, but I feel the goals that we've scored in this tournament have been fantastic and showed that we have been actually more clinical in front of goal.
And there were 3 very good goals tonight. That was seamless, bringing me into that.
I'm trying.
Lucy Staniforth with the first, and just real direct play.
Yeah, it was, and to take that, you need to have a positive attitude, and just we need to see this kind of positivity in the World Cup, especially that first game when we kick off against Scotland. You know, get the shots off and look what happens.
Karen Carney scoring a header, we love that, coming in at the back post. You can highlight Japan's defending there, I think could have been better, but look, I want to stay with the positives for England, because every game they've improved and show us going into the World Cup, there's a reason for fans to be excited to come over to France to cheer this team on.
And if you're watching it, if you're Scotland watching it, you're looking at goals coming from different players, different areas, and that's going to be a worry for anybody that comes up against it.
Yeah, exactly. If you have a strategy to nullify a certain player or strength, then someone else pops up in a different areas and produces. So, like you say, we're ready. We've got our armoury.
Is it coming home, Ellie? Is it coming home?
I'm not saying that. But there is the table. There it is. England top of the table. The USA will play Brazil in a dead rubber, and England are going to have to hang around to the end of that game to pick up the trophy.
The thing is, look, this looks fantastic. We've won the trophy, which is great, but we know we can't get carried away. There's still a long way to go.
Yeah, well, let's hear from Phil Neville, who is with Joe Curry.
Well, Phil, massive congratulations. England have got their hands on an international trophy. What, for you, was the most pleasing part of that performance?
Just that the players that came in that I trusted delivered. It was absolutely fantastic. You know, I think we do have a philosophy. We do have a certain style that we want to play, but part of that is we're not going to compromise on the fact that we've got 23 players that are all good enough to play football for England. And you know, I thought that was a sensational performance. And you know, the players, you looked at Steph, Kira, and Lucy, who's had to play in all 3 games. They were dead on the feet, to be honest with you. I mean, Steph was dead on the feet, but the players that came in have made an impact, and they're causing me problems. And you know, before this tournament, I was not really bothered either way whether we were going to win or lose. The biggest thing for me, I wanted to see an improvement, and I wanted to see that we were on the right road. And we fly home tomorrow with no question in my mind that we're on the right road to where we want to be.
Look, it's 3 months out from the World Cup. What message does this send to other nations?
Well, all you've got to do is you've got to listen to what they're saying about us. And we've not really spoke about, you know, what we're about, what we're going to do really that much. We just keep listening to USA, Japan and Brazil talk how good a team we are, and I spoke to the coach just then and she praised us a lot. So actually you let your football do the talking, and we are just going to remain humble. We're going to have fun, and that's what we're doing really, you know. And I can't wait to you enjoy moments like this, because you know what, you don't get many moments in your life where you get your hands on a trophy. It's my first as a manager, it's the first for some of these younger players, and we're going to enjoy tonight.
As you say, it's your first trophy as a manager. Where does this rank in your career highlights?
Well, you know what, with 87 minutes to go, I was actually starting to think about April camp, because, you know, it's great for everybody, and this is a great reward for the staff and for the players, but I actually think we've got bigger things to aim for, and you know, the players can't wait to get their hands on the trophy, and you know, I'll tell them tonight to enjoy it, but tomorrow morning we wake up and we've got to look forward to April camp, because there's still a long way to go. Just
one more from me. We saw Izzy Christensen taken off. She's limping at the end of the game. What's the latest on her?
Well, she got a bad, it looked a bad one, you know, but Izzy's strong. I think the initial thing is obviously she gets put in a boot and on crutches, because that's what the medics have done. We will assess her in the morning, and you know, we've already lost Jordan Nobbs so far in our build-up, and we've got to make sure that we keep all our players fit, and Izzy Christensen is a vital member of our team. You saw that in the first half today. The actual challenge where she got injured, she nearly scored. She's got great enthusiasm. She's so popular around the place, and you know, we're just saying all our prayers that she's going to be okay.
Well done for tonight, Phil.
Thank you.
Well, his players delivered, which he will be delighted with. He's got some silverware, which he will also be delighted with. But it also must be a very exciting time for him, because, like he said, there are still improvements to be made in that squad.
And I'm glad that's what he's talking about, because it's easy to get carried away. Yes, you've had great performances against Brazil, USA, but we need to stand up and be counted during the summer, when it matters, when there's a different kind of pressure on, when all your eyes of the nation are watching you, and some of these players, it will be their first time in that kind of environment. That's when they need to deliver as well.
A bit of a headache as well, perhaps. How does he fit all those players into a starting 11, particularly in that forward line where there's sort of 6 players that could easily be fighting for a place?
Yeah, that's right, and that's good luck to him. All the best. Yeah, the pressure's on, but what a brilliant position. You'd rather be in that position than not. And I think they're going to go, those forwards that you spoke about are going to go back and perform well in the WSL.
Well, let's head back to the stadium where Joe Curry has caught up with one of the England players.
Yes, I've been joined by Karen Carney. Karen, as a player who's achieved so much domestically and internationally, just put this trophy into perspective for us.
Yeah, it's great. We've never won it before. It's fantastic for us going into the World Cup. Brilliant prep that we've come here, beat some top teams, and obviously won the SheBelieves. So we're really happy.
Phil Neville only took over as manager just over a year ago, and already the team has an international trophy. It looks like he's building something special. Is that how it feels?
Yeah, it does. It feels really good. The energy's good, the mood's good. I think we played some really good football. You know, we've come and beat Japan 3-0. You know, today we've had two other fantastic results as well. So yeah, for us, it's a fantastic stepping stone going nicely into the World Cup. So we're really happy. It couldn't have gone better if we tried.
3-0 up at half-time. That must be one of the easiest team talks Phil's had to give so far.
Still went mad.
What about?
Standards, you know, and he's right, to be fair. I think we can play a lot better, you know, but that's Phil, isn't it? You know, he wants to be the best and he encourages us to be better, and at times we were a little bit sloppy, but, you know, it's still 3-0. He demands more from us, and I think that's what we're going to need to keep building and building if we want to win the World Cup.
Well done. We'll let you go enjoy the celebrations.
Thank you. Cheers.
I'm sure that's exactly what you want to hear as well, that he was not happy at 3-0 at half-time. He wanted to push for more in that second half.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and I think the players will know that themselves. But, yeah, certainly to keep improving. But the best thing is they have the chance against Canada and the other games coming up to keep, like Karen referred to in that, the building blocks nicely leading into that first game of the World Cup.
What's the key now for England moving forward? They have that April camp and they have friendlies on home soil. What do they need to do to build on this success?
I think for individual players, it's the stuff that you do now when no one's watching. So you can't just expect to show up at camp and be ready. It's the stuff that you now go and do away at your club environment. It's the stuff that you do away from the training field to make sure that when you get to the World Cup, you are in the best possible shape that you can be to go and deliver on the world stage. And I think what this tournament actually does as well, it's hard for those players that actually go to a World Cup and don't get many minutes, like we've seen today, Gemma Bonner coming on, Leah Williamson, but you will play a part. But it's being in that environment and knowing that when you get your chance, you need to take it.
How exciting a time is this for a player on the brink of a World Cup?
Oh, it's just the best feeling. It is, because there's no decisions been made. And like you say, like Alex was saying, control the controllables and keep your fingers crossed and hope, yeah, it's just a fantastic time.
And hope that it's coming home.
I'll let you say that, right? The SheBelieves Cup is coming home because England have won it in a World Cup year. We've got all of the Lionesses warm-up games right here on the BBC. Check the website for details. Thanks to Alex, to Laura and to Rachel Brown-Finnis, and to you for watching. From all of us, bye for now.
Ellen White, she only needs one chance. What a goal! Absolutely stunning.
Steph Horton, oh, what an equaliser! Here's Nikita Paris. England lead against the world champions.
The shot creeps in. What a start for England. Oh, it's 2-0. Mead still going. And it's 3. There it is. England win the SheBelieves Cup.